Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm the High Pop Professor, and today I would like to take a look at the second part of my Diamond King autograph collection. And so this will span from the years 84 all the way up through the early 2000s. And so I have way fewer of all of those years combined than I did for the 82, 83. And so it made sense to sort of do half of the collection as 82, 83, and the other half in this part 2 of our video. And so I'll turn the camera around and let's take a look. All right, and so we already had 82 and 83 taken care of. And so we're gonna continue actually with technically a card from 83. Here is a Bob Feller, and it's not technically a Diamond King, but I count it as an honorary Diamond King. It's a beautiful bold auto on some artwork that is, if you see really carefully here, it says Dick Perez. It'll focus. Maybe it'll focus. Oh, there it goes. And yeah, if you see, there it is, Dick Perez. It's right there. And this is 83 Donruss Hall of Fame Heroes. And so it's in the 80s, it's artwork by Dick Perez, it's gorgeous, and it's a way I can own a Bob Feller card, and a Bob Feller autograph card at that. And so really, really pleased to be able to add this one. Technically not a Diamond King card, but it's an honorary member, I would say. And that takes care of 83. And then moving on to 84, we have another old school player here, Duke Snider. This is, again, this is the puzzle card from this year, autographed by the Duke. And this is, as again, at the bottom it says Hall of Fame Diamond King. All this puzzle card artwork was also done by Dick Perez. And it says right there, Hall of Fame Diamond King. So I'm counting it. This one is a much stronger case, I think, for inclusion in a Diamond King autograph run. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and call that one good. And by the way, the Drew of Vintage Legacy, I'm using these amazing stands. And I do like that they both support both the PSA and the Beckett slabs very, very nicely, very, very beautifully. Okay, so let's put some actual Diamond Kings up here. And so let's go ahead and make a little bit of room for the upgrade. I just got this one upgraded very recently, my Eddie Murray, Steady Eddie. And I had an old one in a Beckett that was a little bit, cover up his chin a little bit more. The autograph was a bit smaller. This one's nice and bold. And I think I like the placement and location of it better. And so here we are. And I realized I didn't show the backs of the other two. And so maybe we can get to that in just a second here. Perez Steel Galleries, there we go. And before we get too far removed, let's take a look at the back of this Jolly Good Feller, Hall of Fame Heroes. There we go. All right. And so, you know, I do like somewhat of being a type collector as well. And so I do want to, you know, part of my, one of my goals in completing a run like this is I'm not going for every single player, but I do want to have every year of Diamond Kings represented, at least from the Dick Perez years, with my autographs. And so here, let me tilt this. Light's getting a little bit, there we are, I can see better. Here we go, here's another one from 84. This one's a Robin Yount. This is one that I went ahead and had authenticated myself. I bought this, I took a chance on this one and bought it raw. This is also one that I might consider upgrading. Both of these, Robin Yount and Eddie Murray, have versions of Diamond Kings in the 92, 93 years, which are my personal favorite years. And so I would consider getting an upgrade for one or both of these at some point. This has the unfortunate location where it looks like he's picking his nose with the T on Yount, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but you know, it's a beautiful card. And I love it, love the artwork. All of these Diamond King autographs just look like museum pieces to me. And I just really, I love it. I just cherish them. And they are just the most beautiful non-refractor 80s, 90s cards that I just love. I love pursuing them, I love collecting them. And yeah, so that's 84. And let's move on to 85. And speaking of guys who have Diamond Kings in 92 and 93, Ripken, this guy does have one as well. Although I like this one for a couple reasons. This one it's a lighter card, and so the autograph I think shows up a little bit more cleanly on this. Whereas the cowl, the left part of the 92 has a little bit of a dark spot, and so it would get either swallowed up or smushed to the right-hand corner of the card. I also like this because you can tell this is an older autograph of Ripken. You can tell because the R is quite substantially larger than you usually will find, and the J comes to a point at the top, whereas with the ones that were done in the 90s and afterward have a rounded top of the J instead of a pointy one. And so this is 85, gorgeous 85 example of our Diamond King. And you can see there's actually a little bit of writing on the back of this one, and that's okay, MT. And when it comes to Diamond Kings, you know, I don't really care too much about the condition of the card itself. I much more care about the condition of the autograph and the presentation. And so, you know, I don't really, I mean, if the card's in great shape, it's a bonus, you know. But, oh, you know, and before we get completely out of 84, I should probably mention, I did have a Beckett reveal video, and this particular one got some mixed reviews. This is a Mike Schmidt. And it was actually certified by CAS, whatever the heck that is. And I really wanted it encapsulated, and Beckett actually rejected this. And so I don't know. I might send this in to get a second opinion at PSA at some point in the future. I'll probably wait until they have some kind of an authentication special before I go ahead and do that. But it's actually still in this. This is an active cert number. You can look this one up. And it's funny because Beckett put their put their thing on it as well that didn't quite pass. So yeah, this one's kind of in limbo. This is the card I would like. I would like an 84 from Mike Schmidt for sure, and that would be nice because if I have a good 84 Mike Schmidt, then maybe I could upgrade the Yount and the Eddie Murray. But those are the ones. All right, so this is 84, 85. Let's move on to 86. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of cheating on 86 because I don't really have, well, I do have an 86, but it's, again, you'll see why in a second. This is the puzzle card. This is Hank Aaron. And again, you know, for a guy who collects mostly 80s and 90s and maybe very early 2000s, you know, to have a Hank Aaron autograph card, it's a really cool thing for me to be able to add into this. And so really pumped when I was able to pick this up late last year. So here's my representation, my representative of the 86 Donruss set. And 87, this one, definitely not a Hall of Famer, but certainly one of those guys, Jose Canseco, that is, well, certainly iconic, and certainly one of those nostalgia pickups for me. And this one, yes, this one I did also send in for authentication myself. It looked exactly as it should. I sent the Ripken in also. A lot of these I acquired just unauthenticated and sort of decided to roll the dice because a lot of them really just looked pretty good to me. And the price was right. You know, this Canseco, I want to say this Canseco was just about $10. So they were not expensive. In fact, a good number of these were not that expensive. Now this one was a bit pricier because it's, well, it's Hammer and Hank. I mean, come on. All right, moving on from 87 to 88, and we have Paul Molitor. Now, Paul Molitor also does have one that is in that 92, 93 set as well. And so this was also one I might at some point consider an upgrade to my favorite span of years, but this is a great one. This is one that, this one also I purchased unauthenticated and decided to go ahead and legitimize by sending in to Beckett, in this case, when they had their grading special. And maybe I'm rolling the dice quite a bit here. My next one was also from this 88 set, and again, yet another puzzle card, Stan Musial. And this one again was one that I bought unauthenticated and just rolled the dice. And the reason I'm doing that a lot of times is because I'm able to pick these up for, like, I think the Stan Musial card was like $30, and it looked perfect to me. You know, and it's tough to find that sweet spot, I think, between, you know, if there's a player that doesn't maybe command that much value, there's less of an incentive for people to try to forge those autographs and fake them. But if we're approaching, you know, players like Barry Bonds, Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr., those guys, they do go for quite substantially more, and so I've got to be careful, and we all have to be careful about that. All right, moving on to 89. Here's my Tony Gwynn, 89. Absolutely love having a Tony Gwynn in here. And this is one now, I don't particularly like the 89 Donruss set. It's not my favorite design. It's not a bad design, but of these Diamond Kings, I would really prefer, if I could, to get his 94 would be my preference. That would be my favorite one that I would love someday to upgrade this to. And so, hey, if you know anybody who's got this 94, signed Gwynn, they're looking to move, hey, let me know. All right, and of course, we have one more 89, and why the heck not? How about a Warren Spahn puzzle card? Because, yeah, that seems nice. Well, once again, this was one that I purchased and had authenticated myself. I purchased it raw because I got it for like $11, which is just silly. Realize how good Warren Spahn was? You look at those stats, look at those numbers, and to realize you can pick him up as an autograph. He signed a lot. He signed almost as much as Bob Feller did, I think. Anyway, all right, and so this actually finishes up the 80s. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the 90s. And we've got two excellent examples from 1990, the Diamond Kings. And our first example we have is one that I actually have not yet sent for authentication. And this is a John Smoltz. And this one is just in a semi-rigid. I realize I haven't really been showing the backs. I probably should do that. Well, we'll start that in from now on. But anyway, let's replace Mr. Gwynn with Mr. John Smoltz. And of course, I have shown that Smoltz before, and I've also shown this card before, but why not? We're going in the run here, and a beautiful Ken Griffey Jr. This is an old style Ken Griffey Jr. autograph. It's interesting. I'd like to talk more about the autographs that are signed early in players' careers versus the later career or post-retirement era autographs. And I do think, right now, it doesn't make much of a difference. I think for some people, they might prefer an aesthetic of a certain era of autograph over another one. Barry Bonds, another guy who has early career, mid to late career, and then post-career, a couple different eras. But I do think that you consider how many years after he retires he's going to be signing autographs and signing autographs and signing autographs. I have to think that the late to post-career style autograph, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, is going to be much more plentiful. And a lot of these early career specimens, when he was signed when he was a rookie or in the very early 90s, I do think those will be a bit more scarce. I think just population-wise, there'll be fewer of them. I do like with this one how he kind of shaped it around his face. And he shaped his autograph beautifully to avoid writing over his face. And I really appreciate this one. Now this one does have a Beckett authentication sticker on there, which is nice. And so I'm very, very happy with it. And it's Mag Pro, doesn't need more than that. And then moving on to 91. Now we're in this really peak junk wax era, high pop wax era. And Rafael Palmeiro is a guy who doesn't get a lot of love. He's all lumped in with the steroid era names, but really impressive ball player. Absolutely. Look at the end of the day, look what he was able to accomplish with the Rangers and also with the Orioles. Just fantastic. I got a screaming deal on this one. I think this was $11, already slabbed. So I'm not sure how that works, but anyway. Okay, and now we're getting into my favorite span of years, 92 and 93. And I want to take some time on these because now the first one, just as I have a couple honorary Diamond King cards, here's one that we're going to start off with. This is 92 Donruss Triple Play. So it's still Donruss, and it still has the banner on top that looks like Diamond Kings, but it says Gallery of Stars. And the artwork, as you can see, above the Rookie of the Year 91 inscription is actually Dick Perez. So this is, Bagwell was, of course, Rookie of the Year 91. This is 92 Triple Play, which is sort of Diet Donruss. And this was a release that was through Treat Pro, which is Brooks Robinson's company. And there were quite a few players who signed under that. And I went ahead and got it slabbed up myself. But yeah, that's a legitimate run. These are not expensive. You can pick those up with or without the Treat Pro signature on there for between 10 and $15. Not bad at all. All right, but now we're gonna move on to these runs of these 92 and 93 Diamond Kings. So here we go. And this was the card really that started it all for me. This is the card that got me back into the hobby. I saw this card online, and this is a big hurt. Frank Thomas, 1992, just autographed Diamond King. This card is just glorious. I love it. Beautiful, bold, 10 auto. This set was really nostalgic. The first year they made Donruss Diamond Kings into legitimate insert cards. And that was a big deal because before they were always sort of subsets, you know? And you know, maybe they were just the first 25 cards of the set, of the run for that year. But yeah, this was different. They treated it with quite a bit more intentionality, a bit more respect. And in a high pop era, you know, having it limited to only one Diamond King every whatever it was, 6 to 8 packs or whatever it was, that was a good way to do it. All right, now someday I may go after this Griffey signed. This is not signed. This is just the card. But someday. But the problem is, of course, then do I get rid of my 90 then? My 90 Diamond King if I do that? I don't know. I mean, there are a handful of other ones that I am looking to pick up. You know, there's from 90 set, there's a Bo Jackson, which I think would be really sweet to pick up if I could do it. But let's go on, keep on looking with 92 and 93. And I'm gonna lump these in together because really they're kind of the same design. The only difference, here's a beautiful Wade Boggs, and love this one, gorgeous autograph. I also got a screaming deal on this one. This one, I think I won an eBay auction for $27 for this. And that was already slabbed. So I don't even know how that works, but yeah, that was a silly deal. So Wade Boggs, and you can tell the only real way to tell the difference between the 92s and the 93s is that the back of the 92s are in this beautiful blue, and the back of the 93s, let's just use this one, are in green. And so here's a Juan Gonzalez, also a guy who was truly a feared hitter in the 90s. But this guy will not be a Hall of Famer. Didn't have the WAR total. His name is associated with the PED era players, and so he's not going to make it. But he was absolutely, it was a good day when you pulled the Juan Gonzalez out of the pack in the 90s. Truly a feared hitter. And this is also a card that I got and went ahead and slabbed this up myself. I did take a little bit of a chance on it. Bought it raw, and I got this for, I think it was $6. So apparently he's a very good signer through the mail as well. And like I was saying before, these 92s and 93s are just fantastic. And so let's go ahead and take a look at a few more of these just gorgeous cards. Here's one. I hate to remove Frank Thomas, but it's time to take a look at Tom Glavine. Love it. 300 game winner. He's a Hall of Famer, even if Juan Gonzalez may not be. Absolutely stunning. Love that. And while we're putting up some pictures, let's go ahead and try one more. How about Roger Clemens, the Rocket? Depicted, of course, as a Red Sox. I mean, just beautiful. These are just beautiful artwork, beautiful museum caliber pieces. So nostalgic for me, particularly. These cards, oh, they just get me fired up all the time. I love it. Fantastic. Talking about a couple more steroid era guys. Can't have that conversation without this guy, this Mark McGwire. I will say this might be the most beautiful Mark McGwire autograph. This is not his old style autograph with the very prominent capital E at the end. This is, but still, one of the most beautiful, bold. And you know, people talk about color match, but what about color contrast? I might make a video about this later, with that beautiful sort of rusty color in the background with the bright green of the helmet and the bold blue autograph. And man, I tell you what, I think color match I mean, yeah, color match is cool, but you know, don't count out the idea of color contrast. So we're gonna go ahead and put Big Mac right over here. And we'll finish up the 92, 93s for now, with of course, one more guy. And I showcased this big unit, of course, in my Tale of Two Big Units video. This is my keeper. This is my keeper big unit right there. Absolutely love this card. Blue back is a 92 edition. And I just absolutely love that. Okay, now I will say after 92 and 93, I still do have a strong liking for the 94s. I think the 94s are just fantastic. Let me get the glare off of there. There we are. And so here are a couple of my very favorites that I've got here. And so this one, Pudge Rodriguez. I did showcase this in one of my recent PSA reveals as far as authentication is concerned. Love this cracked ice, this red cracked ice up there. Fantastic. They changed the logo, but they again made it really feel more inserty, you know, instead of just the gold foil and, you know, the blue accents. They made it a legitimate silver foil and now red cracked ice to really spice it up a little bit. And I just love it. Fantastic. Gorgeous bold 10 auto. Man. Outstanding. And here's another guy that definitely gets overlooked, I think. Not particularly popular in the hobby, but here's Gary Sheffield. And again, a great beautiful bold 10 auto. Avoided his face, well placed. You've got that gorgeous blue Marlins helmet that contrasts with, again, the red cracked ice and the bold blue Sharpie. Love it. I just can't get enough of these. And as I said, 94, looking to maybe pick up a Tony Gwynn, much like this theme. And so we come to 95. And 95, again, this card, Sammy Sosa, very well placed autograph, right above the name, right below the face. Tough to do that. And this is my one, I mentioned before, this is one that I did send off. And this is my one and only sticker auto I have in my entire collection, and it's not even that noticeable of a sticker. And so, might I upgrade that if the opportunity arises? Yeah, maybe. But very pleased with it. I really do enjoy it. I like it. 95 and 96 are tough years for getting autographs because they don't 95 is dark colors and they're very busy. And it's a very close-up of the player's face, which makes it hard to find a good spot to sign. 96 is even tougher because it's a solid black background. And this is one that I had attempted to get authenticated. Unfortunately, it did get kicked back as no good. And so I might, debating whether I want to send this for a second opinion. I really wanted this to be very good, but unfortunately this Maddox, again, it's so tough to get this one signed in a good spot. I found one where he signed it apparently on his hat and avoided his face, and so I sent it in, although admittedly the M looks a little suspect, and even the latter part of the Greg doesn't look perfect either. So I don't know. We'll see if we're gonna send this in again or just try something a little bit, get a replacement or something. Here, let's set this up a little bit. Put a one touch behind it. There we go. Okay, and so this was the final year of the Dick Perez era Diamond Kings. And now there are a few other players that either didn't have one or maybe their first one was from 95, 96, like Sosa, where, it's just tough to get ones from these 90s, early 2000s era players. I still do like the idea of signed Diamond Kings cards, but once they hit 2005, they really started, to me, the designs just went downhill. And so I don't have too many from these eras. So I have a couple interesting ones. So here's one that I picked up Now, I do already have an 82 Nolan Ryan. Now, what's fascinating about this one, this was a 2001, this is called an all-time Diamond Kings. And the issue with this is that they were numbered, and so this one's numbered on the back to 2500. And I looked at Baseball Cardpedia, and it said that they had a studio series that had a more canvas-like cardstock that the card was printed on. And it also said that the first 50 that were printed were autographed. And if you look at the serial number of 23 out of 2,500, it is in the first 50 run. And so I picked this up thinking that this was a pack pulled certified autograph, but then I did a little more research, and I realized that in fact this is not a pack pulled autograph. This was aftermarket, so I have to get this one certified. Hopefully it comes back good. It looks about how it should. It's a little, vertical, a little larger and taller than we're used to seeing, I think, from a lot of his autographs. But I am hopeful that it is authentic and legitimate. But you can kind of see as a comparison. Here is one from 2001, and this is you can see this is the Studio Series. It actually says right there, Studio Series, in this sort of refractor-like font. And so that's kind of neat. But what's also important to see about this Studio Series one is that there's a texture difference. I'm not sure, here we go. Now you can see there's both an embossed stamp right here, and there's this canvas-like texture on the front. And both of those should be on these pack-pulled versions from 2001. And I know this one's not an all-time Diamond Kings, but still, it is a 2001 Donruss Diamond King Studio Series. And again, this was out of 250, and again, the first 50 of them from the 250 run, not the 2,500 run, should be pack-pulled and certified. So this one is labeled, first 50 signed, Chipper Jones. These are pack-pulled. And so this one I don't really need authentication because it's there. This one I purchased thinking it was pack-pulled, but now that I'm realizing it probably isn't because it's missing some of those key stamp features and things like that, and it's not the refractor-like top and bottom here. I'm gonna go ahead and send this off at some point. Next time there's an authentication special, we'll make that happen. All right, and we're down to the last couple. The only couple I've got left. I've got this beautiful 2002 Diamond King, Pedro Martinez. And what's fun about this is that all of these ones have that sort of canvas-like cardstock. And so just gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful card. This is also one that I purchased unauthenticated. I just got it, unauthenticated, took a chance on it, looked right to me, and came back good. So there we go. And two more to finish out the run here. We've got an Ichiro from the exact same 2002 year. Not quite a rookie, but hey, second year, we'll take it. Now, what's interesting about this is that this is the first year that I'm aware of that they made Diamond Kings as their own sort of standalone set. And so it's fully numbered into the hundreds with all the players. It wasn't any kind of an insert or any kind of a subset where they only made 20 or 30 of them. Yeah, that was it. So there's a lot of players starting in 2002 that have Diamond Kings now for the first time. But and the artwork is still beautiful. It's not Dick Perez, but still gorgeous. And yeah, that way I get to have an Ichiro in my collection and a nice Pedro. There is a 96 Pedro, but again, with a dark background, it's just like, nice on the Expos. I kind of wanted a Red Sox. I wanted like a World Series champion era Pedro, So I really do like this. All right, and the last, but certainly not least, a card I have shown before, but here's my 2003 Recollection Collections, Greg Maddux. This is the, again, on-card, pack-pulled, certified, embossed, Greg Maddux, numbered 2 of 2. And so, even if that 96 one came back as no good, well, I've always had this one to fall back on. And that's kind of nice. And so, yeah, I sent this one in just to get sort of the auto-graded and to get authenticated as being the 2 of 2 that it is. And so, I have done that. And no disrespect to Ichiro, because I actually absolutely love what Ichiro has done. But let's leave it here with these two top pitchers from this era. No disrespect to Randy Johnson, of course, he's had his time in the sun. But we'll end it here. And so, yeah, thanks for watching. And yeah, give me a like and a comment if the spirit so moves you. Thanks for watching.